All right, I'm going to honor our time, which means I have 10 minutes to deliver the message that I've prepared for you today. So doing a little bit of research, and Gary Keller said one time that if he can make a t-shirt, Gary Keller, you see him, he's always got different t-shirts with different sayings on them. And one of his t-shirts would say, "Up yours." Right? Now, funny. Now, what is he talking about? He's talking about up your standards. Up your standards. And here's the topic of the title of the conversation that I want to have with you this morning: up your standards with seller listings. Now, I did a little bit of research, and here's what I found. Over the past 3 months, listings taken in Northwest Broward are down 16%. The number of seller listings in Northwest Broward County is down by 16%. 16 fewer properties being listed in North Broward County year over year over the last 3 months. So November, December, January 20 through 21 versus 21 to 22, down by 16%. In other words, fewer properties are being listed. Okay, fair enough. The next fact that I found is, in speaking with James Shaw and Pat Mancuso, all of you know who they are, and they coach real estate agents across the country. And the question that I had for them was, what are they seeing? What are they seeing when it comes to listings taken? Because what I'm seeing here locally is the number of people who are putting their homes on the market is down by 16%. Raise your hand, raise your digital hand, if you've had a hard time finding seller listings for your buyers. Every hand should go up. Thank you for rising. Bump, 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 bump. There go all the hands. Now, if you've had a hard time finding seller listings, and there's even fewer being taken now, are things going to get easier, or are they going to get harder? Say harder. Right. If you've had a hard time finding properties to put on the market for sale, are things going to get easier or harder? Harder. And here's what both James Shaw and Pat Mancuso told me. From the agents they're coaching across the United States, they're seeing listings down by as much as 30%. That's a big number, everybody. Wow. Now, add in that there are more real estate agents, more people getting their license today than there ever has been in the history of the National Association of Realtors. So this giant group of real estate agents is getting more giant. And there's fewer listings being taken. Hey, how's this for inspiration on a Wednesday morning? Everybody feeling inspired? All right, here's the good news. This is when skill matters. This is a skill-based market. Now, I did what I normally do when I have this kind of information. I went to two of my favorite books. First one is Shift. Page 49. Here's what Gary Keller has to say on page 49. By the way, you should have this memorized by now because I've shared this with you like a gazillion times. Just because the market has moved from more to less doesn't necessarily mean you have to. As leads become fewer, you must recognize the situation and make a more concerted effort to generate them. You can't sit back. You must be more rigorous and resolute in your lead generation than ever before, and more so than anyone else. In fact, now is the time to shift your lead generation activities into the highest gear possible. You know, he also says in this book that real estate agents succeed in good markets because of what they do right. However, they also succeed in spite of what they do wrong. Now, I've got 15 people in the room, and I'm guessing probably another 20 on Zoom. There's 24. So there's 40 of you. Of the 40 agents that are a part of this morning's conversation, I bet, and I'm probably right, that the majority of you are in the business 2 years or less? Raise your hand if you're in the room and you're in the business 2 years or less. Every hand in the room went up. Every hand on Zoom is going up. You have an advantage. Let me tell you why you have an advantage. Because those agents have been doing this a long time who are closing 10, 20, 30, 40, $100 million a year are not, they're not doing anything wrong, but they're not aggressively, proactively prospecting for listings. They're living off of repeat and referral business. Matter of fact, for the most part, they're lead receiving. They're not lead generating. Get that? Now, you guys are hungry and you're on the phone making calls. That was me in 2007. I'm calling for sell by owners and expireds every day, like my life depended on it. And the market didn't just shift, the bubble burst. And we went from a hot seller's market to a buyer's market where there was more than a year of inventory on the market. And the Dietz team went from non-existent, nobody knew who we were, to number 5 out of 12,000 real estate agents in the Pinellas County Board of Realtors in less than a year, because we're hammering the phone. We were doing what those other agents weren't. By the way, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just desperate for listings. Are you guys hearing me? All right, so I have a list of 15 things that you could do starting today in order to find more seller listings. So here's the tease. I'm not going to share all 15 this morning. If you want to hear the rest of this list, you have to come to my team meeting at 11:15. All right, number 1, talk to producing agents. So let me explain that. Producing agents have listings coming to market that are not on the market yet. They know of homeowners who are going to sell their home, but the home's not listed yet. If I were you, here's what I would do. I would search the market that I'm working. I would search the market that I have buyers for, and I would do a search over the last year for homes that sold, and I would sort that search by listing agents, and I would find the agents who are selling, who are listing most of the homes that are being sold in that particular area. I would have a list of the top 20. Now, I would call those agents at least weekly. And I would just ask them, hey, Diane, John Dietz, I know that you're a top listing agent in our market, and I just wanted to check in and see, what do you have coming on the market in the next 30 days? I've got a buyer looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, 3-car garage with a pool, somewhere between $750,000 and $800,000. Who do you know that might have that house, that might be putting it on the market in the next 30 days? And because I'm doing that, I'm going to find listings that are not on the MLS yet. And if you do that, could you potentially find a property for sale, sell a property without having 20 multiple offers on that property? Yes, you could. So talk to top producing agents every day. Golden nugget number 1. Please write it down. All right, number 2. Search for abandoned properties and absentee owners. There are abandoned properties. There are homes where the owner has forgotten they own the home. I promise you. It's crazy, yes. And how can you tell? Well, look at it. If nobody's taking care of it, it's probably abandoned. Do a search. See who owns that property. See if the mailing address is different than the home address. If that's the case, the homeowner doesn't live there. Reach out to them. Hey, I noticed your home at 123 Main Street in Eagle Trace subdivision. And just curious if you might be interested in selling that home. You might get a hold of a homeowner who says, oh my gosh, I forgot about that house. I have 20 houses and I forgot about that one. True story. Find absentee owners and reach out to them. They might be spending a month out of the year in that home. They might not have forgotten about it, but they might not really be focused on the real estate market, and just tell them your home is probably worth more today than it ever has been. Matter of fact, it is. And if you knew the market was going to change, and if you knew that the price, the value of that home might be less 5 years from now than it is today, and I could bring you a full price offer, what would you need in order to sell it? What's your make me sell price? Give me a number. Make it ridiculous. Let me see if I can get it. So look for absentee owners and abandoned properties. All right, golden nugget number 3. Build your inventory with home builders. And I'm not talking about the home builders that are building 300 homes at a time. I'm talking about the home builders who are building 1 or 2 homes at a time, maybe 2 or 3 at a time. You should have an inventory of those home builders that you reach out to on a regular basis. Most of them, when they build a house and they sell it, they'll put a sign in the front yard. It's basically for sale by owner. And because the market's hot, they've been selling those homes without a lot of effort. It's the same conversation with them as it would be with any for sale by owner, Millie. If I had a full price offer on your home, would you want me to bring you the offer? Yes, cool. I'd love to stop by and take a look at it so I could potentially bring you an offer. When we were in production, the Dietz team had half a dozen of those builders in our database. And we would list and sell an average of 10 to 15 homes a year just with our home builder database. Find those home builders, put them in your database. The cool thing about Command is you can tag them. So if you just want to search for home builders, you're only going to pull them up. You can create a 36 touch that's specific for them. All right, number 4, that was number 3. Convert for sell by owners to listings. By the way, this is the last one for today. And remember, I said have 15. So if you want the other 11, be in my team meeting today. All right. This is so simple. And this is the one that we're missing. By the way, I went on Google and I Googled this because I wanted to see what else anybody else had out there that maybe I wasn't capturing. And it's interesting, everything that I read from all the different sources that I looked at, they all shared some common advice. And here's one of the things they said about for sale by owners, and tell me if this sounds like something you've heard before. I'm going to meet with one person every single day who's trying to sell their home by owner. This is John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. I notice your home is for sale. Just out of curiosity, if I had a full price offer on your home, would you want me to bring you the offer? I don't want to list my house. Cool. I want to help you sell your home. Do you have an offer? Great question. And I won't know until I see your home. That's exactly why we should get together. Does today at 4 o'clock or would 5 o'clock be better for you? I don't want to pay blank percentage of commission. No worries. My fee is negotiable. If I have to give up money in order to make the deal work, I will, because I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. All right. Got it? Here's what they said. They said, if you meet with them and you follow up, I'm true story, guys. I'm not making this up. And you follow up, they didn't use the word emotional proximity. I'm using it. If you follow up, they said 10% will hire you. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I've been saying for the last 7 years. I've been saying that because that was my experience. Now, That means if I meet with one for sale by owner every day and I just follow up forever and I'm not attached to the outcome, I reject rejection. Over time, 10% will hire me. That's 25 listings. Raise your hand if you would take 25 listings right now. Did you get value today?
Yes.
Did you learn a couple things that you might be able to do to go get more seller listings? If you want more,
100%.
show up at 11:15.